10% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
One man and one man only, Donald Trump. The Sunday shows were filled with questions about two eye-catching comments Trump made last night. In one, Trump said migrants are not people. And in the other, he painted a dark future for the country if he does not win.
Hey everyone. In a whirlwind of political drama, former President Donald J. Trump found himself at the center of controversy once again. But what was the truth behind his recent bloodbath declaration? Former President Donald J. Trump on Monday sought to defend his declaration over the weekend that the country would face a bloodbath if he lost in November, saying that he had been referring only to the auto industry. But how did this narrative unfold? What does it mean for the broader political landscape? And what border policies are actually of Biden that are under serious attacks from Trump? Join us as we dive deep into the complexities of Trump's remarks and uncover the truth behind the headlines.
About the auto industry and a 100% tariff on every car that's brought into this country. He's talking about the auto industry and the impact the Biden policies have on the auto industry.
You
and
don't
when
think he just meant the auto industry?
I believe
You
when
don't
he
think-
uses the term bloodbath, he is talking about this in an economic sense. And you look at the word bloodbath.
But he says
when
that's going to be the
what
least
a
of it.
bloodbath means
It's going to be
is
a bloodbath for the country.
we're talking about the other definition of bloodbath is a severe loss and reversal. And this is used all of the time when we're talking about the stock market and the economy. And he's talking, look, I think this is a tremendous disservice.
Stay tuned for a fascinating exploration of Trump's bloodbath comments and their implications for the nation. Don't miss it. As the media buzzed with speculation, Trump took to his social media platform to set the record straight. According to Trump, the fake news media and their Democrat partners in the destruction of our nation pretended to be shocked at my use of the word bloodbath, even though they fully understood that I was simply referring to imports allowed by crooked Joe Biden, which are killing the automobile industry, he wrote on his social media platform. He made the remarks in Ohio on Saturday in a speech delivered on behalf of Bernie Moreno, whom he has endorsed in Tuesday's Republican Senate primary. After vowing to impose tariffs on cars manufactured outside the United States, he then said, "Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country." Live News. Subscribe now. In the same speech, Mr. Trump called some migrants animals and not people, in my opinion. Described people convicted in connection with the John 6 attack on the Capitol as hostages, and suggested that American democracy would end if he lost. "I don't think you're going to have another election, or certainly not an election that's meaningful," he said, while mentioning to the hostages who attacked police officers on their way into the Capitol on January 6 incidents. He portrayed them terribly unbelievable patriots. Looking back at the history, a question arises: that is it first time from the former president that he delivers such insane comments on media? Take a look when he attacked Hillary Clinton.
Golf resort Doral down in Miami, back when he was facing sort of that debt crisis around the time that he came out of saying, "These are financial arrangements that I can do. I think that I can make money on these," and essentially saving Trump.
Well, that's pretty remarkable that it's coming from someone that he has gone to before.
Yeah, that's right. And, Don Hankey's kind of an interesting guy. He made his fortune in subprime auto loans. So this is somebody who's, comfortable with lending money to people that other people wouldn't necessarily want to give money to. He's a strictly numbers guy who's going to look at this and say, okay, yep, he's got the collateral, he's got the cash, which Trump does.
But now it seems like the think tank of Trump's speeches is trying to say that the word bloodbath was referring only to the auto industry. But we all know what he actually wanted.
He's waiting for the Mueller report. He's bad. He's a bad guy. But you know what I like about this? Number one, I'm in love, and you're in love. We're all
Of Grand Rapids, Michigan, former President Donald J. Trump, encircled by a solemn assembly of law enforcement officers, revisited a touchy theme: the nation's border policies under President Biden's administration. With conviction, he reiterated his belief albeit contentious, that foreign entities were deliberately dispatching a cadre of individuals to the United States, a cohort he described as prisoners, murderers, drug dealers, mental patients, and terrorists, the worst they have to offer. Yet, as the political discourse rages on, a contrasting narrative emerges from immigration officials, an account steeped in the plight of humanity. They assert that the predominant wave of individuals traversing the border consists not of malevolent agents, but rather of vulnerable families seeking respite from the clutches of poverty and violence. In this clash of perspectives, the very essence of America's identity is called into question. Are we a nation besieged by external threats, or are we a beacon of compassion and refuge for those in need? Before answering these questions, take a look at the border policies of both presidential contestants. In March 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic took hold, the Trump administration invoked Title 42, a controversial statute supposedly enacted for public health reasons. Under this policy, U.S. authorities were empowered to swiftly expel migrants, including asylum seekers, at the border. Between its inception and January 2021, when Mr. Trump departed the White House, nearly 400,000 individuals were detained and expelled under Title 42. Throughout its implementation, Title 42 faced considerable criticism, particularly regarding its perceived bypassing of legal processes for asylum seekers. Critics, including Human Rights Watch, argued that the policy was unlawful and infringed upon the human rights of those affected by it. On the other hand, what Biden did was not much different. Biden's administration upheld Title 42, using the pandemic as justification. Over 2.28 million people were expelled under this authority between January 2021 and March 2023. However, with the end of the coronavirus public health emergency on May 11th, Title 42 expired. To replace it, U.S. immigration authorities introduced a strategy that promotes legal pathways while imposing strict penalties for illegal crossings. This includes establishing regional processing centers in Latin America to aid migrants in applying for U.S. entry and expanding access to CBP One, an app for scheduling asylum appointments. Those crossing illegally now face deportation, a minimum 5-year ban from re-entering the U.S., and are presumed ineligible for asylum, as per Customs and Border Protection, CBP. These changes mark a departure from the consequences, or lack thereof, under Title 42. Republicans express concerns that these policies may not sufficiently deter migrant influx, while some Democrats and immigration advocates argue they could violate international refugee law.
Administration separated children.
That was him.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on
families?
it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation. Quick response and then another question to you.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with.
Here we delve into the comprehensive narrative surrounding Donald J. Trump, exploring his bold and outspoken speeches that often target both the nation and his adversaries with fervor. What are your reflections on this entire situation? We eagerly await your insights in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and subscribe to our channel.